Hello everyone, I'm Amir and you're watching the Scientist Amir channel. This video is about my life in Krasnodar, a city in the south of Russia. Today we start by exploring outdoor exercise equipment, which is very common in Russia. Then we walk around a neighborhood where we'll see some beautiful murals and one really cozy and magical courtyard that I absolutely love. After that we'll visit Magnit, one of the largest grocery store chains in Russia. Then we'll cook buckwheat with milk, a simple and traditional Russian dish. And in one of my previous videos I promised to finish building my roombox. So we'll finally do that too. I hope you enjoy this video. But first, breakfast. So let's go! Today for breakfast I'm having 2 sandwiches with cream cheese, avocado and fried eggs with runny yolks. I also have some sweet cherry tomatoes and of course my green smoothie. Everything tastes absolutely delicious and goes so well together. I highly recommend trying this kind of breakfast. It's not difficult to make, but it's incredibly tasty and healthy. My mom made this breakfast and she's an amazing cook. Everything she makes is incredibly delicious. Now let's go explore Krasnodar. We'll start by exploring the outdoor exercise equipment. You can find these outdoor gyms almost everywhere in Russia. You just have to look around and you'll probably find one nearby. You can use these machines to work out your arms, abs and legs. They are completely free and available for everyone. There are many different exercise machines around my neighborhood. They come in different colors and work in slightly different ways. I'd like to show you all of them in future videos, but for now let's take a look at this particular outdoor gym. Let me know in the comments if you have outdoor exercise equipment like this in your country. Have you seen this before, or is this your first time seeing them? I'd love to hear about it and learn how things are in your country. There's also a pull-up bar here. These are probably the most common type of outdoor exercise equipment you can find. These are parallel bars. They're great for exercise like dips and are also very common in outdoor gyms. So that was the whole outdoor gym. We've had a look at everything here, now it's time to move on. And look at this cute little green area we came across, complete with a charming street lamp. And this is another little area in the same residential complex just nearby. It's designed in the same style as the previous one. I absolutely love cozy little places like this. If you're in a hurry, you might walk right past them without even noticing. Now we're heading to the residential complex with several beautiful murals. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that it's completely normal to find a low-rise neighborhood surrounded by high-rise buildings in Krasnodar. And that's exactly the kind of area we're walking through now. Just look at these cute and beautiful houses. There's even a little vegetable garden in front of this house. It almost feels like we've suddenly found ourselves in the countryside. Look at this beautiful huge zucchini growing in the garden. They were hiding under the leaves, so we didn't even notice them at first. Look at this beautiful little fir tree. It's so cute, isn't it? Its needles are still soft and don't really prick you, so you can even gently pet it. Did you know that the oldest known spruce is Old Gecko in Sweden? It's estimated to be over 9,500 years old. That means it started growing thousands of years before our era. This is a beautiful horse chestnut tree with these unusual fruits. Unlike regular chestnuts, however, horse chestnuts aren't edible. We're at the entrance to the neighborhood with the murals and lots of other interesting things to see. Look at how the fence and the ground around it are completely covered in the ivy. Isn't it magical? And it's not just the fence, there are also some cars here that haven't been driven for years. They've been solely covered in ivy too. It feels like we've stepped into a mysterious, enchanted world, something that reminds me of a Studio Ghibli movie. Do you get the same feeling? In the distance on the wall of the building you can see our first mural of the day. It's a beautiful mural of two little birds surrounded by sunflowers. This is my favorite mural in Krasnodar so far. It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? I think it's a real work of art. It's really windy today. You can tell by the way the branches are swaying in the wind. I really like these bushes, they're so lush and fluffy. Right across from the mural I found this pull-up bar hidden among the branches of a willow tree. You can find pull-up bars like this all over Russia. Nearby there were these beautiful roses. They add such a lovely splash of color to the landscape. Look at this unusual plant we came across. It has really distinctive leaves and bright red fruits that look a bit like little hedgehogs. This is castor bean, also known as Ricinus communis. This is actually my first time seeing this plant. This is the next mural we've come across. It's dedicated to the indigenous peoples of the Caucasus Mountains. You can see a person wearing traditional Caucasian clothing. Suddenly we spotted an apple tree growing right in front of a high-rise building. These aren't regular apples. They're Ranetka, small wild-looking apples that are common in Russia. Ranetka are very sour, but they're extremely nutritious. You can even eat them with the seeds. I think you've probably noticed that this tree has far more fruit than a regular apple tree. As we were walking through the neighborhood, we suddenly came across this incredibly cozy little courtyard in front of a house. These are handmade windmills, little figures, and all kinds of decorations. It looks absolutely beautiful. And the most magical part is that everything here was made from old discarded materials, plastic bottles, old wooden boards, and all kinds of other things. It turned out so cozy that it almost feels like there's a secret entrance to a magical world here, where you might even meet some tiny magical creatures. The residents have created lots of characters from Russian folk tales and classic Soviet cartoons, all out of recycled materials. Do you have places like this in your country? Tell me about them in the comments. I'd love to hear about them. This is a three-headed green creature called Zmei-Gorыныch, a famous character from Russian fairy tales. On the wall of the building you can see a beautiful blooming wisteria. These are Crocodile Gena and Cheburashka, characters from a famous Soviet cartoon. This is Carlson who loves jam. He's also a character from a famous Soviet cartoon. I hope you are enjoying this little courtyard as much as I am. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's wonderful when someone in a neighborhood takes the time to create something so beautiful. It makes the whole area feel so much cozy. It makes you want to stay and explore a little longer. Honestly, I like this place more than some fancy luxury residential complex. It has so much more character and soul. We've explored this magical little courtyard, and now it's time to move on and discover some new places. Here you can see some large letters on the wall. This is also a mural, but these letters form a poem about Krasnodar. Here is the translation. Krasnodar, a city of bright flowers, a city of shady saffron gardens. Among the free Cuban fields, there is no city dearer to my heart. These famous 4 lines were written in 1956 by Cuban poet Vitaly Borisovich Bakaldin. They later became a kind of poetic calling card of Krasnodar, the capital of Cuba. We came across this small and cozy church right in the heart of the residential complex. I really like it. It feels so peaceful and charming. The church looks even more magical surrounded by these giant apartment buildings. Look at this beautiful lush bush. This is Courtyards paniculata, also known as the golden rain tree. You saw another one in my previous video, but this is a different tree. I only discovered this plant quite recently and it has become quickly one of my favorite plants. Look at this unusual oak tree. On one side it's actually shorter than me, but it has grown so much to the sides that it's incredibly wide, almost like a bush. That's quite unusual for an oak. They normally grow upward rather than spreading out so much to the sides. I've never seen an oak like this before. This is the last mural we'll see today. It shows 3 boys sailing on a raft. Let me know in the comments which mural you like the most. As I mentioned earlier, my favorite is still the very first one. I think the murals make this neighborhood so much more interesting. They're like a hidden attraction of Krasnodar. Most of them are tucked away in courtyards, which is why I really enjoy discovering them. It feels like finding little hidden treasures around the city. Look at this tree with young leaves growing directly from the trunk, almost like moss. It looks really unusual and completely unfamiliar to me. I think this might be a Chinese pistache tree, but I'm not completely sure. It's amazing how many different plants and trees there are in this neighborhood that I've never seen anywhere else in Krasnodar. And many of them I'm seeing for the very first time. Look at this beautiful square. There are lots of different wild flowers planted here, along with wooden benches in an eco-friendly style. It opened this summer. Not long ago we were actually watching it being built. I really love the squares. In the past there would usually be nothing but lawns here, but now it's becoming more common to plant different wild flowers. I really like this change because it makes these places feel more alive and also attracts lots of bees. This beautiful flowering plant is Indian lilac. While most other shrubs and trees bloom during the first half of summer, this one blooms in the second half. It brings beautiful colors to the city when many other trees have already finished flowering. It's especially nice to see it at this time of year when there aren't as many flowering plants around. There's such a great variety of plants in this little square. Do you like little squares and public spaces like this? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear what you think. It's actually right next to a store that we visit from time to time, so we often walk past it. The store next to the square is Magnit Extra, and you're about to see it. This is Magnit Extra, part of the Magnit retail chain. Now let's go inside. Magnit is one of the largest grocery retailers in Russia. Most Magnit stores are supermarkets and convenience stores. But Magnit Extra is a much larger format, a hypermarket. There are far fewer hypermarkets in Russia than regular Magnit supermarkets. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit about the history of this Russian retail giant. The history of Magnit began in 1994 here in Krasnodar. The company was founded by businessman Sergei Galitsky, the same person whose capital was used to create Park Krasnodar, which I've shown in many of my previous videos. Galitsky, who is also well known as a philanthropist, originally founded a company called Thunder, which sold household chemicals and cosmetics wholesale. The name Magnit comes from the Russian phrase "magazin низких тарифов", meaning stores with low prices. In 1998, the company opened its first Magnit retail store in Krasnodar. Instead of competing directly with the largest retail chains, Galitsky focused on developing stores in smaller cities. The idea was to create convenient neighborhood stores with affordable prices. In the early 2000s, the stores were brought together under the Magnit brand. By 2001, the company already had around 250 stores. Later, Magnit also began introducing its own private label products. Another important person in the company's history was Vladimir Gordichuk. He joined Magnit in 1996. He started as a truck driver, then became a sales representative, a sales manager, and eventually rose to become the company's executive director. Galitsky and Gordichuk developed the company together, and by 2004 Magnit had become the Russian retail chain with the largest number of stores. In 2010, the company launched Magnit Cosmetic and 2 years later Magnit Family. Between 2006 and 2014, the value of Magnit shares increased approximately 15-fold. Galitsky reached his highest position in the Forbes ranking in 2014. With an estimated fortune of $10.3 billion, he became the 13th richest Russian at the time. But eventually the company began facing new challenges. By 2015, Gordichuk was spending less time working at the company, and in 2016 he left the business completely. Galitsky was unable to find a direct replacement and decided to delegate many of his responsibilities to professional managers. Then, in February 2018, it was announced that Galitsky had sold 29% of Magnit shares to the state-owned bank VTB. He kept a small 3% stake and stepped down at his company's head. One of the reasons for the sale was the constant pressure that came with managing such a huge retail network. Galitsky once described it this way: when you open your 11,000th store somewhere in a remote village, you no longer feel the same excitement and sense of achievement that you felt when the company was much smaller. Today, Magnit is a huge nationwide retail company with tens of thousands of stores across Russia. Its business includes different formats from neighborhood stores and supermarkets to larger stores, pharmacies, and other retail formats. And although Sergei Galitsky left the company many years ago, his name is still strongly associated with Magnit and its history. We are now in the fruit and vegetable section. A large part of the vegetables, fruits and mushrooms here comes under Magnit Fresh, a private label brand of Magnit focused on fresh food. The range includes vegetables, herbs, mushrooms, fruits, berries, as well as chilled meat and cheese and milk products. Some of these products are grown at Magnit's own agricultural complexes. The company tries to get the produce from the farms to store shelves as quickly as possible. For some key greenhouse vegetables, this can take as little as around 12 hours. These are traditional Russian pickles. Here we have many different types of tvorog, a traditional Russian fermented dairy product. Tvorog is quite similar to cottage cheese, although the texture and taste can be a little different. Tvorog is a white, soft cheese-like food made from milk. It's produced by fermenting the milk and then separating the liquid whey from the curds. It's a very common ingredient in Russian cuisine and can be eaten both sweet and savory. Here we have smetana, a traditional Russian sour cream. It's a thick, white fermented dairy product made by fermenting cream with lactic acid bacteria. The Russian word smetana comes from the verb smetать, meaning to sweep away or skim off. In the past, cream was simply skimmed off the top of fresh milk, which is where the name comes from. And here we have milk. Here we have a huge selection of different kinds of mayonnaise. And here we have a variety of traditional Caucasian dairy products. And here we have kefir, a healthy fermented dairy drink. It has a slightly sour taste and contains plenty of vitamins. And here we have a wide variety of different cheeses. When I was telling you about the name Magnit, I said that it stands for stores with low prices. But actually almost nobody knows this original meaning, and I didn't know it either until recently. There's also a play on words here. The Russian word Magnit simply means magnet. A magnet attracts metal objects, while this store is supposed to attract people. That's how most people understand the name Magnit today. Here we have different types of pasta. We actually need some pasta, so let's put it in the cart. Here we have a variety of different grains and legumes, mainly peas, rice and beans. Interestingly, this Magnit Extra is located on the same street as Magnit's headquarters, which we pass by from time to time. So it's quite common to see employees from the head office here shopping for groceries or grabbing a quick snack during their lunch break. This is a soup making kit. It contains everything you need to prepare a soup. Suddenly we came across this little floor cleaning robot. It drives around the store and cleans the floor wherever it goes. It only appeared here quite recently, and these robots are gradually being introduced in more stores. So far we've only seen them in a few stores, but I think we'll be seeing them more and more in the future. In these paper packages we have flour. And here we have canned fish. Among the canned fish there's also tuna. In these glass jars you can find traditional Russian soups that are already prepared for you. Just heat them up and they're ready to eat. Here we have a variety of different sauces and ketchups. We actually need some ketchup, so let's get this Heinz one. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this brand. Here we have a huge variety of different spices. With this machine you can check the price of a product. You simply scan the barcode and the machine announces the price and displays it on the screen. but here it's not really necessary. As you may have noticed, all the price tags in the store electronic, so the prices can be changed with just the press of a button. You can also buy pasta in a package this large, but we don't need one that big. Here we have different kinds of salted fish. And here we have a variety of seafood. There are currently around 17,000 Magnit stores across Russia. That's a huge number. And here we have some red fish. It's very popular in Russia and is often served salted or smoked. And here we have fresh fish. And here we have dried fish. Have you ever seen or tried fish like this before? And here we have imitation caviar. For some reason there's a stereotype that real caviar is cheap in Russia and that everyone eats it. But that's definitely not the case. Real caviar is actually very expensive here, so it's more of a special treat than an everyday food. And here we have frozen convenience foods that are quick and easy to prepare. And here we have all kinds of sausages and other daily meats. And here we have olive oil, while the yellow one is sunflower oil. Sunflower oil is very common in Russian cuisine and it's used for frying, baking and making salads. Do you have sunflower oil in your country? Let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to hear about it. And here we have different varieties of coffee. I absolutely love coffee. How about you? Let me know in the comments. And here we have all kinds of tea. For me, seeing tea on the shelves of a store creates a special feeling of coziness. It looks so beautiful and it immediately makes me think about how nice it is to sit at home with a warm cup of tea and enjoy a cozy moment. On the floor of the store there are these little games for children, things like hopscotch, word puzzles and other activities. They're there to keep kids entertained while their parents are shopping, so they don't get bored. I think it's a really nice idea. Now we're moved on to the section with all kinds of sweets and treats. This is choco pie. You can find it in almost any store in Russia, usually with a wide variety of flavors. It's made in South Korea. Do you have choco pie in your country? Let me know in the comments. And here we have a whole display of honey, a real paradise for a bear. The rows of different candies look so beautiful and colorful on camera. I think they actually look even more magical on screen than they do in real life. The tour of the store is turning out to be quite long, but I hope you're not getting tired of looking at all these products. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you enjoy seeing detailed tours of Russian stores like this? This is Alenka chocolate, one of the most famous chocolate brands in Russia. It has been produced since the Soviet era and has become a real classic. You can recognize it by the iconic little girl on the packaging. Here we have a selection of more expensive premium chocolates and candies. Here we have candies sold by weight. You simply take a bag and fill it with exactly as many as you want. It's a convenient way to buy just the amount you need without having to purchase a whole package. Let's get some candies. Now we need to weight them. Usually you have to enter the product number or name, but these are smart scales. They can recognize the product automatically. This is zefir, a popular Russian sweet made from fruit puree. It consists of two halves joined together with a soft, airy texture and a distinctive dome-like shape. The word zephyr has another meaning as well. In Greek mythology, Zephyrus was the god of the west wind, associated with a gentle and warm breeze and the arrival of spring. That's where the name of this light and airy sweet comes from. Zephyr is somewhat similar to marshmallows, although the texture and ingredients are different. It's time to say goodbye to the store, but first we need to pay for everything at the self-checkout. Let's see how the checkout process works. After scanning all our products, we need to scan our Magnit loyalty card. It gives us discounts and allows us to collect points. We've left the store and we're heading home. On the way we came across this bright orange trolley bus. If you look closely, you can also spot a gray one nearby. Look at this 3D loaf of bread as part of the bakery's sign. The bakery hasn't opened yet, it's still being renovated. We're waiting for the renovation to be finished, so we'll go inside and see what they sell. It'll be interesting to find out. Now we're back home and it's time to make a buckwheat with milk. This is buckwheat, a very popular grain in Russia. It's a staple food in Russian cuisine and is often eaten as a side dish or prepared with milk. First, let's cook the buckwheat. We need 1 cup of buckwheat at 1.5 cups of water. We need to cook the buckwheat for about 10 minutes. While it's cooking, don't forget to stir the buckwheat from time to time. All the water has evaporated, which means the buckwheat is ready. Now we need to add some salt and mix it thoroughly into the buckwheat. Did you know that Japanese soba noodles are made from buckwheat? And that's left to do now is divide the bucket between the bowls and pour in some milk. And that's it, our lunch is ready. As you can see, it's extremely easy to prepare and takes very little time. We have this dish for lunch quite often. I also have some pieces of baguette with cream cheese and plum jam to go with the bucket. Now it's time to try our dish. It's incredibly delicious. The mild flavor of buckwheat with its pleasant texture combined with the subtle sweetness of the milk creates an amazing taste. And now it's time to finish assembling the roombox. I've already completed most of it, so all that's left is to put the house itself together. In the episode before last, you may remember that we assembled the furniture and the base. So let's start building. The history of roomboxes goes back much further than you might think. In Europe, miniature construction sets became popular as early as the 16th century. They were originally used to decorate interiors, although they looked quite different from the roomboxes we know today. The art of creating miniature houses developed particularly in England, Germany, and the Netherlands. There is a beautiful legend about a poor carpenter from a small German town who fell in love with the count's daughter. Despite their mutual feelings, her strict father refused to let her marry a poor craftsman. Instead, he gave the carpenter an impossible condition. If you can build a house within a week, then you can marry my daughter. When the deadline came, the carpenter presented the count with a miniature version of a real house. The model was absolutely charming. Every tiny detail had been crafted with incredible skill and love. The count was so impressed that he finally gave his blessing to the marriage. This box is actually a dust cover. Thanks to it, the little house will stay protected from dust. Let's remove the protective paper from the cover. This is what the dust cover looks like without the protective paper. In the next shot, you'll see the finished house and hear some music. The music is real. It comes from the roombox built-in music box. Do you like the result? Tell me in the comments. It also has this beautiful magical lightning, which makes the whole little house feel even more cozy and enchanting. Today for dinner we're having rice with mushrooms, white beans, kale and cherry tomatoes in a creamy coconut sauce. We're also having a salad made with tomatoes and cucumbers, dressed with sour cream. Now it's time to try it. Everything is absolutely delicious. I really love dishes with coconut milk sauce. It gives them such a rich, creamy and slightly sweet flavor. It was an amazing day full of activities and bright impressions. We started this video with a delicious breakfast. Then we went for a walk and discovered some beautiful places, including several incredible murals, and one of them was my favorite. We also discovered a really cozy and charming courtyard filled with enchanted figures. Then we visited a beautiful little church. After that we explored Magnit Extra, learned about its history and saw what the store looks like inside and what you can buy there. Later when we returned home we cooked a traditional Russian dish, Magnit with milk. And after lunch we finally finished assembling the roombox. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed creating it. I also hope my videos help you relax, discover new places and see a little more of the world. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. And one more thing, stay curious. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!